It's the new Wabu Order Podcast. We talk to build our culture up, we getting all that. We speak well to eat well, we giving them all facts. So like, share, subscribe if you know that you pro-black. Let's grow.
We are back. Welcome to the new Wabu Order Podcast. Like I said, man, it's been a long time, man. Happy to be back. And today we got, well, he ain't new. He been on the show before. City Council member, Phazhon Nash. How you doing, good brother?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you the youngest member on City Council.
Yeah. So last time I was on the show, I was still in the process of running for council.
Yes.
And we were kind of leading right up to the election. And so I won. And so now I'm about 15 months on the job.
Hold on for that. You see, when you come to new Wabu Order Podcast, any candidate, you will win. Go ahead.
Yeah, Nick got it on his second try.
Yeah, yes, sir.
But and I got it on my first, but that made me the youngest ever to win an election.
Ever?
Wow. In Roanoke's history. And coming off, and even before that in the primary, I came in first in the primary, so I became the youngest to ever win a party primary in June of 24, and then November 24 became the youngest to ever win an election, one of the few to win an election on their first go around. I was competing against a lot of people that had ran for council prior times before, and so they had their face out there for years, versus me showing up to the scene and kind of just knocking it out the park.
So since, what has been 18 months?
Yeah, like 14, 13, 14 months.
Okay. And give us an update. What's been going on?
Man, so it's been a wild ride. It's, we had some unexpected budget difficulties. We had some deficit that we have to deal with now. We had some multi-million dollars in deferred maintenance that we didn't know about until our new city manager, Ms. Turner, came on board and started kind of pulling back the carpet and started saying, like, do y'all see this? Y'all see that? Oh, how long this been broke? And a lot of people who had been with the city was kind of scratching their heads like, we ain't know that was broke. Yeah. And so all of us new guys and girls, Evelyn Power's a woman, new men and women coming in, we were like, oh, snap. Yes, so how this next 4 years going to go. But I mean, we're trying to do the best we can with the circumstances, right? We're trying to make sure that we're putting the citizens first. Trying to make sure that the cuts to the budget that we're making are as well thought out, and that we're doing our best to try to analyze the fallout of these decisions and trying to think about as many people that are going to be impacted as possible before we ultimately vote on the budget here in a few weeks. But budget aside, some of the things that I've personally been working on is I've been working on changing the city zoning laws to crack down on vape shops a little bit. So that's been a real big focus of mine, trying to help limit where they can establish and put some regulations on where they operate, a certain distance from parks, certain distance from places of worship, certain distance away from each other.
So there's no regulation on that? That's why they
regulation. It was no regulation.
Wow.
Even Roanoke County had jumped in and put some regulations on. And so when I jumped on city council and when I campaigned, I said make Roanoke a happier, healthier, safer place for all to call home. Yes. So this is one of the initiatives along a list of many that I want to do to make Roanoke a healthier place. Because we're late to the party on it. And I mean, we see that by the amount of vape shops, smoke shops, hemp stores, tobacco stores that we see just all around the community. Yes. And especially our part of town, right? A lot of them in Northwest, a lot of them in Southeast. So.
Yes. I never knew that there wasn't no regulation or anything on the smoke shops. When you say the budget, what is that like? That entails like the school budget and stuff?
So it's the city's budget. We give the schools a portion of their funding, and it's the rather larger portion of their funding. They get some money from the state, and they get some money from the federal government, along with some grants and things like that. But we essentially cut the schools their check, and we say, hey, this is how much money the local portion is that'll make up your budget. And then they have to craft their budget, how much they're going to give teachers for increases, how much they're going to put towards capital improvement projects, how much they're going to put towards X, Y, and Z. The school board and superintendent and all their and all the folks that help them craft their budget make those decisions. On the council side, we're concerned about everything else. And we're concerned about the schools too, but we focus on public safety, parks and rec, public infrastructure, all of the amenities that people love about Roanoke, right? It's
Yes.
like, how do you maintain that when all these things cost money? So that's the part of the budget that we are focused on.
Okay. And really, we got a real hot topic right now in the city of Roanoke. The casino, was it the entertainment center?
Entertainment district.
All right. What's going on with that?
So what's going on is essentially the city of Roanoke was approached by a casino operator, and I can't disclose the name because me and council members had to sign NDAs, which are common. People are making NDAs seem like they're not a common thing in economic development.
Yeah.
They are. Representatives with Google did so with their, Boditot did so with Google and their data center project they were working on. Tons of other localities around the state have done it for other high profile projects.
Yes.
But a casino operator approached us and was interested in setting up shop here. And one of the spots they was interested in was the Berglund Center, because they saw it as an opportunity that was perhaps a little underutilized and could use some improvement. And part of the deal in Virginia when a casino is set up is they have to invest $300 million in capital. $300 million has to be spent on the physical building, their finishings and furnishings inside that building, the parking garage, anything physically built has to equate to over $300 million.
Would they use local construction companies?
Yeah, they'll use local.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll use local. And they have to do $300 million. In the Berglund Center, so the city of Roanoke had about $25 million in deferred maintenance. The Berglund Center on itself has about $30 million of deferred maintenance. So bringing them to the table would basically take that weight, that burden of having to put money, and all the money the city uses taxpayer dollars. People forget that.
Yeah.
I always keep that in front of my mind. All the money we use for anything is taxpayer dollars. So we don't have to then use taxpayer dollars to invest into the Berglund Center when we have private dollars coming in to do things that will benefit the entire city, like the parking garage, which is not going to be for casino goers only. That'd be for anyone and everyone coming to the Berglund Center to watch the ice hockey game or whatever event might be going on performance-wise. Help update and upgrade, because some of that stuff in the Berglund Center still is original. Those bathrooms, old, need to be uplifted. They still got boilers for heat, and there was multiple boilers, and now it's down to one. And if that one goes out, we're not confident.
How did it go that long? That
Man,
the building maintenance, that kind of sounds like
I
somebody hiding something.
I asked
I ain't
myself,
gonna lie to you.
You know, it's not that I wouldn't say no one's hiding something. I would say people have been passing the buck. And there's a lot of that's in all the departments and a lot of aspects of our city.
Yes.
And so we're coming in now trying to clean up shop a little bit and trying to get back to basics. We're trying to follow what some of the higher performing cities in the Commonwealth of Virginia are doing and kind of getting back to a best practice standpoint with how we operate and manage ourselves and conduct ourselves as a city. Because for a long time, man, I mean, they just been passing the buck, or they just been electing. I mean, like for example, when the city got ARPA dollars, the American Rescue Plan money, they got $65 million in ARPA funds from the federal government. Prior council and prior city administration, they didn't put that towards addressing the deferred capital maintenance.
Yeah.
So that $25 million that we had to take out a loan to help finance and get started on repairing, they could have knocked a lot of that out.
So where did that money go to?
It went to a lot of various projects around the city. So for example, the construction going on over there by the Gainsborough Library on the road, part of that is ARPA funds. The little amphitheater they're building in the back of the library is part of ARPA dollars. ARPA dollars went towards the pool at Washington Park. Some ARPA dollars went towards the Eureka Park Rec Center. So they put the money kind of here, there, and everywhere. Some of it went towards the skate park they built. But a lot of it went to things that I think, for example, the In-River Kayak Park at Wasena, that I think are a little more elective. And if I was on council, I would have thrown a flag on the play and said, do we want to spend money on this right here when we still got, let's say, a park here that ain't even got lights?
Yes.
Do we want to build an in-river kayak park here, which is not a necessity at all, but it's still an original bathroom at this park that was built multiple decades
1919 ago. Or something.
Right, multiple decades ago, and this bathroom is so old and nasty, and it ain't no update to it.
Or so, right within the city, with this casino coming, or possibly coming.
Yeah.
What do you feel was some of the pluses?
Number one off the bat is jobs. 900 jobs, give or take. That was kind of the rough estimate we were given. 900 jobs, average salary of $55,000 a year. Part-time and full-time employees get dental, vision, and health insurance. And that is something that a lot of employers in our area don't offer.
Yeah.
That is something that is unheard of, right? So aside from that, though, it's the opportunity to also bring another level of entertainment to Roanoke that we've not seen in decades. A lot of people don't know that Roanoke used to have, like, the Jacksons. Elvis came to Roanoke. Ozzy Osbourne came. Like, top-notch people. My grandparents would always talk about the type of talent that used to come here, not just to the Berglund Center, but just to Roanoke, period.
Yes.
It's been a long time since we've had that type of level of live entertainment come here. And so this also brings a player to the table who has the financial means to help us attract higher level performers, which in turns brings people to the city, not just to go to the casino, but I know a lot of folks that go to Danville just to see Music Soul Child a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Or to see Chris Tucker, and they don't ever step foot in the casino, but they eat, meals tax, they stay the night, transient occupancy tax, hotel tax, they gotta buy a few things while they're there, sales tax revenue, and then they leave and they head out, and they never even touched the casino.
And so that's basically the investments that could bring to the city, right?
I mean, that's some of them, man. I mean, and even the means for us to fix, a lot of the issues that people bring up about casinos, like homelessness or unhoused individuals, violence perhaps. We already have those issues as a city.
Yeah.
And we don't got the money to fix a lot of those.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a deficit of $5 million that we're still trying to get down to zero. Our budget was at $18.9 million. We've gotten it down to 5.1.
How long did it take from that 18 to the 5 million?
A few months. Because this is the planning. This is the planning. So this is not like our actual fit. This is like going into the FY27. We realized that expenses are here, revenue is going to be here, so we have to close that gap. Because we can't vote on a budget as a council where we're in a deficit. So we got to get that deficit down to zero by the time it's time for us to vote for it here in a few weeks. But with that said, that's why when people bring up issues that we currently have, like the unhoused population, gun violence, right? There's been a wave of that going on here recently. A lot of the tools and resources that could help us address those issues all cost money, regardless if it's, paying police officers higher wages to, recruit more to Roanoke City, or whether if it's to pilot a program that provides housing to unhoused individuals, or substance use programming to unhoused individuals. All that takes money, and that is just what we, like many localities around the state right now, but that's just what we do not have. So that's ultimately the biggest driver for me is, behind this casino is, yes, of course, the revenue and the quality of life, the benefits to the quality of life that it can bring for Roanoke.
But it could also bring like a demonic vibration, right? With the crime. There's still a lot of jobs around here paying $12 an hour. And unfortunately, a lot of people would think a casino is a hustle.
Yeah.
It's made for you to lose. It's not made for you. You're not going to get rich in the casino.
No.
Right? So you're going to go there and lose your money.
Yeah.
You need more money. So was it prostitution going to go up? That's going to skyrocket.
Well, a lot of localities that Bristol, Virginia, they share a border with Tennessee.
Yes.
But Bristol, Virginia has Hard Rock Cafe. They've not seen an increase in crime associated with it. Danville hasn't seen an increase in crime. Neither has Portsmouth, Virginia. And we even brought in, because I'm leading an entertainment district focus group of 19 to 21 citizens, give or take just upon people's availability who comes to the meetings. But we had the police chief from Danville come, and they still get more calls from a local Walmart than they do from the casino. And so that's not to say that we're not going to have those other vice crimes, like perhaps prostitution, like perhaps loan sharks or people loaning individuals money. But I would argue that those are already problems that we have. Because we all know that along Wilmson Road, along Melrose, we already have those fish table spots where you can go in now and there's nothing but slot machines and there's fish tables people are putting their money into and playing. And there's no security there making sure people ain't got no weapons. There's no one there IDing. And there's no one there making sure that no one's not over consuming alcohol. And so when people bring up those issues about the casino, one, we already have those, but two, it's already going on. The casino is the safest place an individual who wants to gamble, because you cannot control or govern vice. You know, I mean, they tried to do that with alcohol during Prohibition, did nothing. They tried to do that with marijuana, did nothing. They just threw a bunch of us in jail for it. That is it. So you cannot really govern or regulate vice or health, quite frankly, either that well. So it's important to put structure in place. In a casino, it's the most safe and structured environment an individual who is going to want to go and put a few bucks into a machine or maybe sit down at a roulette table and maybe it's their night and get lucky. That's the safest place they can go and do that because there's security in-house.
Yeah. I was just saying that because I think a lot of broads is going to turn into Ginger from Casino. They gonna be. You ever seen that movie Casino? I forgot. You young.
Nah.
You young. They're gonna turn into. They're gonna turn into Ginger, messing around with that. But so, like, what's stopping the process right now from happening? Why they not building on it right now?
Yeah. So right now, and it's and honestly, in my opinion, it's a great system in Virginia. I like the way it's been constructed here, but at the same time, I feel like there's a few flaws with it. So the current process is a legislator at General Assembly, so up in Richmond, during the time they're in session, has to introduce legislation to add Roanoke to the list of localities that is permitted to have a casino. That's the first step.
That haven't happened yet?
No.
Oh, wow.
So that vote has to pass. After that vote passes, then the city of Roanoke and also the casino operator have to then fill out a form, do a whole proposal, and then submit that before the state. Then the state has to approve that. After the state approves that, we then get the okay to start the actual constructing of the casino. And the one benefit that Roanoke would have is that a lot of casinos have set up temporary tent structures. We already have the building for them. We already have the space. So there wouldn't be individuals going to a big tent to gamble in. As soon as we was able to go through all the proper channels, we could get our casino up and running fairly quick and start working on projects like the parking garage that would need to happen. But the issue with that system that I personally don't like is that there's a referendum. And I love the fact that the people, ultimately the citizens, have to vote on if they want the casino in their city or not. That's a very important step that I like. But I don't like that it has to go to Richmond in that first step for a legislator there to be able to put it on the floor, because that means we have people who maybe have never stepped foot in Roanoke. We got people who are from Winchester, people from Fairfax, people from Portsmouth who have never even came to Roanoke, but they're making a decision. And me as a councilman here, and who's been elected by the citizens in Roanoke, you know, I feel like we should be able to say, hey, this is something we're interested in, and then it go to a referendum, the citizens be able to approve whether or not they want it or not. It shouldn't be in the hands of all these elected officials at the state level in Richmond when most of them don't even live here. Because the only one we have from Roanoke who represents Roanoke is Delegate Rasul and Joe McNamara and David Suderline. Those three.
Yeah, okay.
Those are all we have.
that would be able to vote for it, right?
No, but it's 100 delegates.
Yeah.
So 100 delegates would be voting for it.
Yes.
And so what I'm saying is out of those 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's from here.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it one of them things that we just gonna talk about forever? And you know how that happens in this area, things that they just talk about forever and it just never comes.
Man, I hope not. But so much of this process is out of the hands of city council.
Okay.
I mean, from getting the legislator in Richmond to carry it, to then getting Richmond to approve us having one with a particular casino operator, then for the referendum to pass, which is a vote taking place, and that the citizens, a majority of the citizens have the vote for. Council's hands are really tied. And so I'm trying to do my part by helping lead the entertainment district focus group. I've been telling people, casino or not, we got to figure out what we're doing with the Berglund Center. It's losing money. Yeah. It's $30 million right now of renovations and deferred maintenance. In 2 years, that'll be $34 million. And we're in a deficit. And I don't see us in no place in the near future having just surplus funds laying around where we can just say, hey, we're going to throw $5 million, $6 million, $8 million into the Berglund Center versus some of the other more pressing issues that we have in our community.
Like, and I got other people that's gonna come on and they're gonna talk about other topics involving the city, different council members and the mayor and a couple of other people I have going to be coming on.
Yeah.
And so the casino is just a weight game right now.
Yeah.
And what can we do in the meantime other than the casino? What's the next big thing here?
I think the next big thing is navigating out of this budget crisis. I call it a budget crisis. Some members of council don't necessarily see it as a crisis, and that's fine. Everyone has perspectives. But from my perspective, I think our city is in a very compromised position. I think anytime you are, your expenses are outpacing your revenue and you're having to cut school funding, which we unfortunately had to do. We had to change the funding policy for that. We're making cuts to Parks and Rec potentially. We're making cuts potentially to public safety and just all of our departments across the board.
Was that necessary though, the school cuts?
Yeah.
What makes it necessary? I'm a little lost on that part. What makes it necessary?
Because when I spoke about that deficit earlier, the $18.9 million that we had when we started our budget conversations in January of this year and planning for the fiscal year 27's budget.
Yes.
That was not including what our deficit would have been if we had given the schools 40% of our budget. Because for years and years and years, the city of Roanoke was in a much better spot financially, especially the past 5 years. Real estate taxes really kind of boomed after the pandemic. And so we were really good financially, bringing in a lot of revenue every year, a record setting. So supporting that 40% was easier. But now we've gotten to a point where our revenue, for example, last year it was 12 or $15 million in revenue generated. The year before that it was 20-something million dollars. This year is 5.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if we would have fully funded the schools, that deficit the city would have had to balance would have been, instead of 18.9 million, well over $30 million that we would have had to figure out, where do we cut within the city's budget? Where do we cut out over $30 million? And so in the process of going from 18.9 to 5.1, we've made some pretty significant cuts. I mean, hiring freezes. There are certain positions that we need filled that we're not going to fill the next upcoming year. And I mean, we're in a really dire spot. So if we would have, we're even talking about maybe changing the trash pickup schedule.
Why?
And instead of going from every Monday to every other week, just to try to cut money and save money where we can, because things are that things are that serious.
Nah, don't do that trash. That can't happen. This joint gonna look like the Bronx. You ever been to the Bronx? This joint gonna look filthy. Trash gonna be, this gonna look crazy. But they do that.
But that's what I'm saying though. Things are that serious.
Yeah, okay.
Things are that
I can
serious.
dig it.
So when people say, we're a city that historically has had a crime problem. Roanoke's always had a higher crime problem, but over the recent years, it's really been notable, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about making cuts to our public safety department, our police, restricting how much overtime they can do, which is right now we should be writing them a blank check and saying how much do we need to help us try to address this problem.
But I feel this is a great city. Involving crimes, I feel like this is a great place to raise your kids.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Good.
I just had to throw that part in because I definitely feel like this is a great place to raise your kids.
Yeah.
And of course, every city got their problems. The
thing is that people fail to realize oftentimes, I feel at least, is how big we are. We're 97,000 people within a little bit less than like a 50 mile radius, or like from the farthest end of Roanoke City to the farthest end of Roanoke City. It's like 47, 48 miles. We're not a big geographical area.
Yeah.
And we have 97,000 people in that area.
Yeah.
And we're surrounded by Roanoke County, which is huge.
Yeah.
And they got 97,000 people.
Roanoke County got 97?
Roanoke County got 97,000 people.
Wow.
So you think, within a day's drive of Roanoke, it's like 500,000 people.
Yeah.
Roanoke City and Roanoke County alone is 200,000 people, give or take. So,
wow, I never knew that.
So people say like, a casino want to come here. Who's going to go to the casino?
Oh, no. We got a lot of people.
A lot of people would come.
Mm-hmm.
But, so when people talk about like our unhoused population, they talk about our gun violence, we have city problems because we are a city.
Yes.
We are a city. We're the largest city in Southwest Virginia. And when we compare ourselves, we have to compare ourselves. There's no one in Southwest Virginia we can compare ourselves to.
No.
We got to go to Hampton Roads to start comparing ourselves to cities out there.
Yeah.
Or up to Northern Virginia towards Nova to compare ourselves. Because there's no one like us here, which means we have problems like no one else has.
Yeah.
But people, I feel, oftentimes fail to
we got unique problems.
Realize that. Yeah, they're unique in this area, but they're not unique among other cities.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course. But so, damn.
I know.
Yeah.
This is why I don't get no sleep.
Yeah, you kind of
no sleep.
Threw me for a loop, cause I was getting ready to give you that work, and then you stopped it with all of that. But so that's what could fix it. Basically, the budget. Money fixes everything.
I'm not gonna say money is everything, because a lot of it I feel like is a lot of effort. I feel like the effort that a lot of employees we have in our departments, and we have great employees in a lot of our departments, but we got some that also perhaps are more accustomed to the way the city used to be run. And we're trying to change that up now and be more effective and more efficient with how we provide services to our citizens. And so we got some people that, we got to maybe put in better positions within the city that suit them better, right?
Yeah.
Some people are better at public facing stuff. More people are better in the background.
Yes.
So we just got to make sure people are in their right positions where they're, kind of naturally talented at. But aside from that, those are things we can't control, and we will. But at the same time, there's a lot of things, like I said, public safety, unhoused population. Even keeping this beautiful park. There's some work that needs to go on here, right?
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that in the near future we have the money, we have the funds to be in a position where we're not cutting a lot of critical things. Like I even give you another one, the libraries, for example. We're talking about possibly, and I always say possibly because our budget's not been voted on yet. But we're talking about possibly having to reduce hours, reduce the programming that goes on at our libraries. And if you take a library like Raleigh Court be popping, but if you take a library like Melrose, which is literally right up the street from where I live, it is packed, and it's a food pantry. It's where people go to apply for jobs.
Yeah, that library does so much for the community.
It offers social services. I mean, those movie nights where those kids come and they get their toiletries, they get deodorant, they get body wash, they get things they don't get at home. The libraries is daycare for parents that got to work a shift, and they take their kids to the library and leave them there. Now, is that good or not? I don't know. It is what it is. These parents got to do what they got to do. But that library is there and provides those resources.
Yes.
And now we're having to have a conversation about, do we cut those hours? Do we change staffing? Do we take away certain programs? Because all that stuff that I just mentioned, the city pays for, that goes on there. I mean, some of it is community donations as well, but a lot of that stuff is all funded by city dollars. And so when people say, talk about, for example, the schools and their budget, my job as a councilman for the city of Roanoke is to focus on the entire city of Roanoke. And so it's to focus on those kids, yes, while they're in school, but also during the days they're not in school, but they're still in this city, and their future in this city, and their parents in this city, and their grandparents in this city. And I got to think about all of that. I mean, even what we're going to do, maybe perhaps with taking funding away from public transportation.
Damn.
How many people go to, our budget situation is serious. How many people rely on Valley Metro, Greater Roanoke Transit Authority? How many people rely on Valley Metro to get to work? 30% of Carilions, last time I looked at the stat, 30% of Carilions' workforce relies on public transportation to get to work. 30%.
Yeah.
But we're in a position where we're having to talk about making cuts to public transportation. In the schools, for example, someone said, oh, the schools might have to cut the activity bus. And I said, we might have to cut Valley Metro. And there are students and adults that take Valley Metro versus there just being students that take the activity bus. And so on both sides, we have to make these unfortunate cuts, but it's just a symptom of the situation that we're in.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And we got to get out of it. That's why I said my priority, that's why I see that entertainment district as a way of really strengthening our city economically, and not having to have all of our tax revenue come off the backs of our citizens through just real estate.
And
go ahead.
Real quick, what can the citizens do to help out other than voting? Is there anything else the people can do?
If you're a citizen that supports the concept of an entertainment district, write an email to myself, write it to some of our state legislators, write it to council members, and we'll forward it to state legislators so that they can see the support, because there's a large portion of our city who don't want this, and those are the folks who I think don't always represent the best interest of our city.
All right, so if y'all have any questions and if you want to help out, please email Phazhon Nash, call up his office, get on their nerves. Anybody in city council, write them letters. Let them know how you feeling. Get in contact with anybody you can get in contact with. Before we roll out, do you got anything else to say?
The only thing I would leave with Roanoke City citizens in particular is times will get rough. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Times will get rough. Council's going to have to make decisions that are not popular, but our city's survival economically is on the line here. And so we're doing this stuff not to be evil or mean or cruel or senseless, but we're doing it to try to make sure our city stays alive and that there's a Roanoke for the next generation. But it will not last. Storms come, but storms never last.
Yes.
And so we will get out of this. We will get to a more prosperous place as a city, and we will learn from this, and I'll make sure that we will not repeat these mistakes in the future.
Yes, sir. Well, you know where you heard it first. New Wabu Order. Let's grow, y'all.
It's the new Wabu Order Podcast. We talk to build our culture up. We get into all that. We speak well to eat well. We giving them all facts. So like, share, subscribe if you know that you pro-black. Let's grow.